Sunday, October 27th, 0902 a.m. New York time. Welcome back, investors, to Winning Wall Street's Money. We're about to start the last week of the month of October, and we just finished the past week. So we're so close to the end of the month. I think it's important, again, to look at the top-down multiple timeframes, the monthly, the weekly, and the daily, get a better perspective from a higher altitude, the broad futures market. Good insight to help figure out the overall market, not just including equities, but again, the broad markets. That's the including equity indexes, currencies, treasury yields, commodities. First, we'll start off the ES, S&P 500 futures. Again, the far right grid would be the monthly, 5-year. The middle would be the weekly, 1 year. And the left would be the daily, 3-month. Look at this, the S&P 500 futures, all-time new high this month, all-time high in history for the S&P 500 futures. Here's the low, the year 2020. Here's the high this year, this month. Outstanding. Smaller trading range than the prior months. Look at this huge trading range. Buyers stepped in on these sell-offs. They were buying on the dip. Again, this candle won't be done to the close of this month. So again, we already had a retracement, a part of that body, so that wick, and made new highs. So we have buyers at the highs. The weekly, look at that, lower high, lower low. Closed below last week. Wick on the bottom, tested this key level gray, horizontal range I have labeled here. Buyers stepped in there. Again, key level, that price level. I discussed that deeply on my Patreon page, explaining what this is. So again, we had buyers stepped in there, and we closed inside of it. Did not close below it. We have a gap down here, has not been filled. Look at that. Inside candle, midpoint. Nice. And the daily chart. Closed red. Made a higher high, higher low than that inside candle. We closed back inside here. Big wick on the top. We had buyers all the way up there, rejecting prices up here, but did not take out that low of Friday. On to the next. The 10-year US yield. Wow, huge green candle this month. Higher high, higher low. Yes, the US central bank recently lowered the US interest rates 0.5 point, 2/4 for overnight lending from bank to bank. So again, you would expect the yields to go lower. They did go lower, and then they reversed, went higher. Again, people that buy the US bonds, US treasuries, notes, different durations, are wanting higher interest rates to put their capital on a fixed income, what they perceive as a higher risk. So again, of course they went higher. Because when the treasuries want to sell, they need to encourage buyers. And the weekly. Yep, huge bullish candle. Taking out that impulse high here, which was the impulse move down, bearish, broke above it, closed above it. Key level. And the daily chart. Green. Yep, made a lower low. Buyers stepped in there again on the yields, and we closed above 50% of the daily candle. That's bullish, and we closed inside the prior candle. So again, we will see if this is going to have a momentum to retest this high, or if it's coming down to this key level. US dollar index. Here's the low for the past 5 years, all the way down here, 2018. Here's the high, 2022. Here's the low this year. Here's the high this year. Huge green candle. This month, outstanding. Huge trading range. Strong dollar. Big reversal coming off that lows of this year. And the weekly chart, that green, big candle, big trading range. Higher high, higher low. Broke above, closed above midpoint here. And also filled this gap. Closed above it. Nice. Again, potential areas on the upside. You can see here, midpoint monthly, I have labeled here. I'm also reflecting it on the weekly potential target on the upside. Daily chart. Green for the month. Green Friday, but did make a lower high, lower low, but closed near the high of the day on Friday. Wow, nice buyer slipped in there. Again, the trend is temporary down here. Lower highs, lower lows. Oh, maybe we'll get a retest of here. Potential trade ideas. We have this down here. It's not been tested yet. Now we'll look at one of the major currencies inside the US dollar, the euro. It's the largest weighted currency in the US dollar. Look at the monthly, big inverse from the US dollar index. Here's the low. And high was all the way back here in 2018. Weekly chart, euro, lower highs, lower lows, selling off. Getting closer to this impulse move. And a swing low. And the daily chart, look at that Friday. Made a higher high, higher low. It reversed off the low from here, which is now a swing low. And it broke above that high of Thursday right here. So Friday's high and bottom. But it closed red, big sell-off. Why? Technically, it came to the midpoint right here. Big impulse move down, labeled midpoint, and it didn't even touch it. Nope, both times here and here rejected it and selling off. Don't buy at the highs. Again, we closed near the low of Friday candle, and we closed inside that big body of that Thursday. But higher lows. So again, it's not panic selling to take out the prior day's low. Nope, opportunities. On to commodities. There's several categories in commodities. First one we'll look at is energy, crude oil. Commodities are priced in US dollars if not situation awareness. So crude oil. Again, here's a low, past 5 years. Here's the high for the past 5 years. Crude oil has been making lower highs off the high. It's nice. Here's the high of last year. Here's the high of this year. Again, lower highs. Very close to the low of this year. For the month, huge trading range. Yeah, we made a higher high, higher low than the prior month. Again, this month's not done yet. And we rejected all these highs. Potential targets on the downside. Nice. Well, the weekly, we closed inside the prior week. Inside candle. And it's hollow, equivalent to a green. So it tested midpoint on this week. Broke above it, rejected it, closed below it. Again, leaning more bearish bias. We may see further lows on crude oil. And it doesn't necessarily have to be just because the dollar's getting stronger. Nope. There are other alternative sources of energy. You also might have a reduction in demand. Even though there's wars going on in the world with countries that hold huge capacity to produce oil, we are not up at the highs. So again, the wars have not spiked oil up as in the past wars. We have had spikes, I stand corrected. We have had spikes, but it hasn't kept it sustaining, going higher, higher, higher. Nope. And the daily chart also, look at that inside candle. So we're in a consolidation phase here. Inside candle, multiple inside candles, good setups, trade opportunities. And it still has not even got in here yet. Maybe not even make it up there right away. We may have that consolidation and a dump. Time will tell. Let's go on to the next energy commodity, natural gas. Here's a high for the past 5 years. Here's a low. Yep, way below the highs. Candle for the month, red, higher high, higher low. And look at that, already trading deeply back near midpoint of its month. Wow. Again, rejections up here. And the weekly chart, well, green candle, big body. Never made it all the way to the high of this impulse move. Nope. Made a lower high, lower low. The momentum, the trend is down still. But this candle is interesting because, again, the candle itself closed above midpoint of itself and above midpoint of the prior one. So come to the faster time frame, the daily. Look what we got here on the daily. Inside candle on Friday, a dodgy candle on top of a trend, potential reversal. And look at this also. We're now testing midpoint of this gap. I'd be looking more the wiser for potential reversals. We have a swing point here to be concerned with some of these things. Let's just cue in the weekly drawings on the daily chart to see how it reflects. There we go. So on the upside, potential targets for trade ideas. Now another category in commodities. Metals, gold. Here's the low for the past 5 years. Here's the high, all-time highs. Strong like bull. The weekly chart, green, higher high, higher low. Smaller trading range again. And key area, looking for the opportunities. Daily chart, huge consolidation up here. Building energy for the next breakout, either way. Key level, got tested. Didn't even do 100% test it. Nope, went in there. Some buyers stepped in there in that inside candle and broke above the inside candle on Friday. So we had buyers up here and we had down here, again, building consolidation. But there were buyers rolling up there and it may be a retest and fill. Onto the next metal. Silver. Yep, here's the low for the past 5 years. Here's the high. Great big green candle. And look at the weekly. Red candle. Dodgy candle. Very suspicious on the top of a trend on a weekly time frame. Wow. Yep. Big rejection. Again, we had buyers up there and the follow through did not stay up there. Nope. Closed below 50% of the candle. Yep. Very suspicious. Key levels. In the daily chart. That big green candle made the new high. And the next daily candle rejected it and dumped. So obviously there were panics up there. And then follow these two dodgy candles. Lower highs, lower lows. Yeah. Distribution possibly. And we're already inside this key range. Potential targets on the downside. And we take it to the crypto Bitcoin. Here's the low for the past 5 years. Here's the high. For the month, green, higher high, higher low. Much closer to the highs. Again, there were buyers up here. And look at that body. Currently just shy of being back below the high of the prior month. The weekly, red, higher high, higher low. Okay, higher high, higher low from that prior week. And then huge sell-off of the highs around midpoint. Big wick went down, tested midpoint right there on that prior week, and buyers stepped in there. Okay, so buyers were willing to buy the dip, but they didn't close above the prior week, and they closed below midpoint, looks like. Yeah, that's suspicious of potential reversal. And the momentum's upside, but it may not have the strength, conviction to continue going up there. Look at the daily chart on Friday. Higher high, higher low, and never made it back up to that swing high. What happened was we had sellers up here, buyers and sellers, but the buyers did not have the momentum to even do a full retest. Yep. Potential targets on the downside. Take this intraday 1 hour time frame where I'm looking for my faster trades. Again, setups on the higher time frames and triggers on the lower time frame. As well as including the 4 hour. Good insight. And you may have less participation in the market. Yep, less participation in the market next few days because we're coming into the US election in November. We're also coming into the end of the month. And there we are in the last quarter of the year. Hey, if you'd like to have early access to my videos, I have a Patreon page. This content is shown the same day. Versus YouTube, you're going to wait till I decide when to release it. It's for a small donation. Nothing's free on my Patreon page, but the cost to see that content is a very small donation. Links below in the description. Thank you as always for spending just a little bit of your time with me. That's it for the video. Thanks for watching.